Welcome to Camp Chaos, where we celebrate the wild ride of modern womanhood.
Join us as we dish on motherhood, life's ups and downs, and all things pop culture that we know you want to talk about.
With special guests and expert insights, we're here to empower you through the chaos of everyday life.
Consider this your ultimate escape from the hustle and bustle. And as always, parental guidance suggested.
Camp is now in session. Welcome back to an episode of Camp Chaos. Today we're talking about all things body and feeling good in your body and pregnancy and body dysmorphia
And postpartum.
I know before this episode, I'm like, how are we going to get this episode out and talk about our body? It's like going back through, I feel like even being in high school of like your body image. But I think as a woman, when you get pregnant, the biggest thing that you're not prepared for is the stretching and the changes in your body and the growing. And you think, okay, I'm so lucky to be pregnant, but like my clothes aren't fitting and my size 26 jeans are all of a sudden going up to size 27. And do I buy new jeans? And how do I dress my bump? And then you have the baby and then you're like, okay, now what do I do? And how do I get my body back? I also realize we're talking about this where you and I are very fit people. So like I do think we need to figure out how to be relatable, but also like just tell our truths, because Taylor and I both work out. And I feel like we work hard to look a certain way and feel a certain way. But that being said, like we understand that as moms, you may not feel and look good all the time. And we've been there too.
Yeah, I think we just want to really talk about also the emotional aspect of what happens to your body during pregnancy and in postpartum, because it's so much to take on and a lot of it is really unknown and it will change with each pregnancy that you have. So for me with Miller, my bump, and kind of like the same even here in my third pregnancy, like my bump shows up later than
you are not showing.
Yeah, my bump shows up really late. And, you know, I literally remember with Miller, like I would take photos every single week and I'm like, where's my bump? Where's my bump?
Okay,
like I was getting worried.
Well, and like this is your third baby and you should be popping like your third baby, or it's like, you're like, oh, you pee on a stick and there's your bump for most women. So that's why I think it's very important that we address this, because Taylor does not show pregnant. We were in a mommy meeting last week and this girl is very pregnant or looks very pregnant. I said, oh, how far along are you? Which you would never ask unless like, you know, somebody is pregnant, right? You should still not even ask. She told me the exact same weeks as Taylor. And I look at Taylor, I'm like, okay, this is what a normal body looks like. So we're sitting in a very different situation with Taylor where she is not showing pregnant.
Right. But I think there are certain factors that go into that. One being just genetics. I think I carry very similar to the way that my mom carried. My mom always talked about how she was able to hide her pregnancies until she was 6 months pregnant. And that's kind of the case here. Like,
do you gain other places though?
With Palmer, I did. With Miller, I didn't. But here's the thing. So I feel like when I get pregnant and I head into pregnancy, I am heading into like my healthiest self, because all of the sudden, like when I'm eating junk food or like
you think about everything.
I think about everything that goes into my body. So I think naturally, like when I find out at 5 weeks that I'm pregnant,
or
like
10 weeks, depending,
my eating and everything changes. So like naturally, I actually get thinner at the start of my pregnancy, only because
So we will not be relatable in this episode.
No.
Buckle up.
I think some people can understand that, where they're like, oh yeah, no, like I'm so in my head about what's
2%.
going in my body is going to the baby. And
totally
I get nervous.
But most people, unless they're like severely sick or like you don't lose weight in your pregnancy.
Well, I don't actually like lose weight on the scale, but I feel like I'm working out more and eating better. So
you're
naturally my
shape,
body looks better. I also, my OBs, and I think most OBs say this, like to continue doing what you've been doing exercise wise.
Well, and a lot of OBs tell you like don't gain more than a certain amount.
Yeah, a lot of OBs are really strict about it.
Like Dr.
Illick's pretty strict about it.
Yeah, he's like, don't gain more than 30 pounds. Or like even like depending on your body. And I mean, I think everybody is different. I do think though, a lot of women, and like that being me and not Taylor, when I got pregnant, I was so worried with IVF of like making sure I was nourishing my body and like eating everything healthy, that when I got pregnant, I'm like, all right, this is the time to get fat. Like, I don't know why that's been put in my mind of like, I can eat for two and like, I'm going to just eat my way through this pregnancy and whatever I want, whatever I'm craving. My husband also, I don't know if this is like a Middle Eastern thing or what. He said that this is going to sound so weird. Oh my God. He said, if you have a craving and you don't feel that craving, oh my God, now that I'm saying it out loud, it's so dumb. He said, if you have a craving and you don't feel that craving, the baby will have a birthmark of whatever that is on them.
Oh my God. He has lost his mind.
He's like, my sister, it happened to my sister.
What is her birthmark of? What did her mother crave?
I'm not even kidding you.
A bagel?
So he was always like, every time I was like, oh, this sounds good. He's like, oh, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go. So he fed me during my pregnancy and like he gained weight. Like we were
just say
we're in our fattest moments.
Honestly, I would have loved that kind of treatment.
No, you wouldn't though, because then you pay for it on the other end.
Yeah, but I think there is something to like just enjoying pregnancy. And I will say when I was pregnant with Miller, all of my pregnancies, I have some sort of ice, like whatever it is. With Miller, it was ice cream. And I told myself, like, I am pregnant. This is the time where you say, it's okay. You're literally growing a baby. I had a bowl of ice cream. Yeah, but like
you could have every night. I know you probably had like 3 bites and you're like, licking the spoon and putting it back. I would be there with the carton.
No.
I don't believe you.
No. Okay.
I'm an astro.
I do have good portion control. I would scoop 2 scoops out of the carton.
With a teaspoon.
No, with a spoon. And I would eat the ice cream. But I do think there is something to like, you should enjoy yourself in pregnancy. And I remember every time we went out to dinner, I'm like, I'm not drinking. So yes, we will take the dessert menu. Thank you. Because everybody else is like,
you're like, I'm going to indulge somewhere.
You have to indulge somewhere. Yeah. You have to give yourself some sort of leeway. But I think when you think about pregnancy, this goes along with like my, how I treat all of my life. Like this is so me. But delayed, like gratification, delayed satisfaction.
My abs will be here after delivery.
No, I just think about like, even with Miller, I think about postpartum and like how I do not want to work out at all in postpartum. Like I know that I will not have the energy. I want to be completely just like,
you don't want to be
laying on the couch.
Yeah.
I don't want to focus on that. So I am willing to like work my ass off during pregnancy. And you guys, I am also so aware that I am not the norm, that most women are so sick that they can't even fathom like getting out of bed, let alone doing a workout. The workouts that I do are...
This is why you're having 3 children back to back.
Oh, stop it. The workouts that I do are crazy. That also comes from like, I have danced my entire life. Like I have
you have an athlete's mentality.
Yes, I have been like, I would be in the dance studio from 3 p.m. till 10:30 at literally 7 days a week. So like for me, when I don't move
your
my
husband
body,
too. Like Drew has the same mentality.
Same. So we're like,
we are lazy schmazy over here.
No,
you come over here and have ice cream. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I do think though, like yes, whatever fuels you and makes you feel good in your pregnancy translates to baby. It's so important to move if you are able to during your pregnancy, and it just makes postpartum easier. Like even your healing, like pelvic floor, if you could do Pilates, walking, whatever that is. But at the end of the day, you are going to gain weight and you are going to gain.
You are going to gain weight. Like let me make that very clear.
In your body. Okay. With Zane, this is going to sound messed up. I only made it to 34 weeks because he had to be delivered. But I remember a nameless person in my life was like, oh, you're not going to stretch. Like your stomach's not going to get big. And like, because it's that last month where you really are just like growing and growing and growing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I really wanted to stay pregnant. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, well, that's kind of an added bonus. Like I didn't gain that much. With Zoe, as soon as I knew she was a girl because I transferred a baby girl. I don't know if I was like, oh, girls make you ugly. So like, let's go for it. I ate my way through that pregnancy in such an unhealthy way. I was having a croissant probably every morning. I'm like, it's the only thing that sounds good. When I look back, I'm like, I wasn't even that sick. Like, sure, I was like, when doesn't a croissant sound good? It sounds good right now.
All the time.
But like, you just at least, maybe not you. I was like, 2 sheets to the wind, fabulous. I'm going to eat as much as I can. Amazon can deliver me a new jumpsuit and a bigger size to grow by tomorrow. So like, I just ate my way crazy. And then after I delivered Zoe, I was like, I am not going, like, I need to go fast. And I will say I lost the weight fast with Zoe.
How did you lose the weight fast with Zoe?
I don't know if it was like, I just wasn't eating as much. I don't know if it was also like, I remember that's when I had my thyroid issue. So I went on thyroid medication. I'm like, oh, there's my metabolism. So Zoe was born July. By I think it was like Thanksgiving, I was back to my pre-baby weight.
Wow.
Which like, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal of having, what is that, like 4 months. But I think that based off how big I got, it was a big change.
No,
and
I think that's 4 months is quick.
4 months was quick. And then I feel like with the holidays, I am that person that like once I start losing weight, I'm like, all right, like it sounds messed up. And I don't know if this is like maybe like some like bad, like this is horrible to say body dysmorphia, but like once you see the scale going down, you almost obsess over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I never used to be somebody that weighs myself, but my husband was so weird about weighing himself that I'm like, oh, well, I'm just, so like every morning I'm like, oh, it went down a little bit. Like, and then it was like almost like a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to like February, I'm like, okay, I need to stop losing weight. Like this needs to end. But, people would be like, oh, what are you eating? Or what are you taking? That's the best of like, oh, everyone's like, you're on semaglutide or you're on, what are they called? Ozempic. And it's like, no, you could actually just lose weight the healthy, maybe it wasn't the healthiest way that I was like just not eating as much.
Right. That's definitely not the
But
healthiest
I feel
way.
like also my personal mindset on this, like I had so much out of control having 2 kids. I felt like it was like the one thing I could control.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I'm going to get my body back. And then like my mom has said to me, this is so fucked up. She's like, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
Oh, God.
And it's such a Karen Mayo thing to say.
Totally.
But if you think about it, it's right.
Oh,
Nothing, what tastes better than how skinny feels?
Javier's Mastros.
I mean, sure.
I think of a lot of
And
things.
I am an eater. I love my food. Don't get me wrong. But like when your clothes fit, like when you're not stressed about getting dressed because everything fits, is there anything better? And I realize I'm talking to my pregnant friend right now.
Right. There are, of course, like the goal for all of us is to feel good in our body.
Here's my politician talking
No.
now as I'm like, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. I don't care what anyone says.
The holiday season is tough on skin. Cold weather, stuffy indoor heating, nonstop festivities. We are eating and drinking whatever we want. And let me tell you, it is showing in my skin. That's where today's sponsor, OneSkin, comes in. Their scientifically proven products are designed to support your skin at the cellular level so it looks and feels healthier and holiday ready.
I love that this is founded by an all-women team of scientists. OneSkin focuses on skin longevity, not just surface level improvements. It's all thanks to their proprietary OS1 peptide, the first of its kind to switch off the cells that cause skin to become more vulnerable. And don't just take my word for it, OneSkin has over 6,300 5-star reviews, guys. That's for their moisturizer, cleanser, sunscreens, and honestly, you can add 2 more because Taylor and I have tried it and we are obsessed.
Skincare is one of the best gifts you can give during the holidays. Everybody needs it and we need it all year around. So for a limited time, try OneSkin for 15% off using code CAMPCHAOS when you check out at oneskin.co. This holiday season, invest in your skin's long-term health because healthy skin is a gift.
It's true.
I think though that when you are in postpartum, or like if you're pregnant right now and you're getting ready to experience postpartum, I think you have to be ready to experience a body that you've never had before. Like even if it's for the good, like even if you're going to be skinnier than you were before, you're more fit.
And I think a lot of people get pregnant and like the really skinny friends that I've had, they like love their curves.
Mm-hmm.
Like they get like their boobs get bigger and then they end up wanting implants after because they don't want to lose their boobs. Like there's so many good things for different women. But at the end of the day, even if you've gone through this, whether you're in high school, like body dysmorphia or like weight changes or like not feeling comfortable in your own skin, I don't know what woman hasn't felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that just because you're a mom and you're given this responsibility of, oh, you have children, doesn't take it out of you that like there is still some body image issues.
100%. I think it's like one of the biggest issues for us as moms. And I think when you're in postpartum or like once you become a mom, you just try to figure out like what works for you. And it's for me now is like I didn't work out for a long time when Miller was like after he was 6 months, just because by the time I dropped him off at my parents' house to babysit, to go to one workout class, it's like, what was all of this for? I just wasted my entire morning. So I didn't work out with him for like 6 to 9 months. And then Drew and I sat there and we were like, we are fighting more than ever. Like we're down each other's throats. Both of us need to work out for our own mental health. So it was like, how are we going to make this work? And the only time that works for us is first thing in the morning, which sucks. But it's like, that is the sacrifice that we make in order to like mentally and emotionally be better parents for our kids. I also think like I'm just going to share, not that anybody is asking, but some tips that helped me. And I always have a lot of people like DMing me asking about my workouts. I don't think you need to do my workouts while I will continue posting them. one thing that I did when I was pregnant with Miller that helped me so much is after dinner, I like did one loop around my neighborhood.
Oh yes, a good walk after dinner is wonderful.
Especially in pregnancy, you feel so full quicker.
Yes.
Like you eat the same meal that you used to eat before you were pregnant, and you're like, why do I feel like I'm 100 pounds heavier? And I would do one walk around the neighborhood before bed. I listened to a podcast, and it was like it made me feel so much better. And OBs say this all the time. Like the more you move your body, it does not have to be a Peloton ride or hot mat Pilates or crazy strength training.
Yeah,
just moving your body will help you in delivery. Also, it helps like with baby's heart rate, being used to like your oxygen level being up, or like your heart rate being up will help it baby when they're in distress trying to go through the birth canal. All those things, a walk helps so much. So I used to do that all the time. I also think
postpartum walks. Like I don't think we give enough credit for postpartum walks. With Zane, I had so much anxiety of like, okay, but what if I get in a stroller, and what if I don't have the milk, or like I'd act like I was going on a trip when I went on a walk. Now with the second one, I'm like, whatever, we'll walk home if one of them's screaming. If you're screaming in Corona Del Mar and you see my
diaper,
kid, we'll make it home. Like I felt more relaxed in my second, but with my first, I was so stressed of like, what if I'm somewhere and this happens? But get your kids in the stroller and just go on a walk. And like your kids are heavy and that stroller is heavy. Like go up and do some hills.
So much with the boys.
And honestly, like walking is so underrated.
It's so underrated. And I feel like especially.
Or is that we're old?
No. I think people don't think of it as a workout.
It totally is.
But it is. And I think doing it after dinner before bed makes you feel better, makes your body feel better.
Or in the morning sun. I'm different. It's like I need to get out in the morning.
But we would go in the morning.
Yeah,
like I would sometimes do 2 walks a day. Like
I
would take, the kids in the or Miller in the morning. This was when I was pregnant, so I don't have a kid. But I just think that one, like after you've eaten all your meals for the day, especially in pregnancy, if you're having ice cream, bagels, whatever, do all the things and do one quick walk before bed. Also in pregnancy, because like when you are starving, you are ravenous. Keeping fresh cut fruit in your fridge during pregnancy is like, I'm a huge fruit craver.
So here's what I would say.
And fruit is fill me up.
Really? It would fill you up?
Oh, I think because the water, but it would fill me up for like 20 minutes.
Second. Yeah.
But it works.
I feel like there's too much sugar. I am different where I'm like, you need to have like
nuts.
No, like loads of meat. And like, I'm sorry to my vegan friends, but like if you front load on the protein, if you have your body weight in grams of protein, so like if you had 130 grams of protein a day, you have no sugar cravings, you're full, you have more energy. So with like Zoe postpartum, I would eat like ground beef. Like it sounds so gross saying it now, but like I think it also helped me out. Like I would just eat like meat. Like throw meat in my mouth, like steaks, throw it in, like just as much protein and meat as you can.
So maybe it's even more so than like whatever. I just think a healthier snack, because you're going to want to snack all day in pregnancy, having it in the fridge is
what
helpful.
Do you mean? Downstairs we're eating peanut butter pretzels, shoving them in our mouth.
Pull the pretzels out. I'm starving and I just say breakfast.
Yeah. But I will say as much as you could do, because I feel like when you have sugar cravings, at least me, it's because I'm not having enough protein.
Yeah. Blueberries also great in pregnancy. Can you tell that I'm pregnant? I also cut
can we put some whipped cream with that?
Huge watermelon, and I've been eating watermelon like every day, which I know is a lot of sugar, but at least it's good sugar.
And it also, like, I'm not gonna lie, I ate Taco Bell a lot.
I eat Taco Bell every pregnancy.
Yeah,
like I
don't
treat
know what
myself. There's what I'm saying. Like
pregnant.
There is, yes, you're supposed to indulge. When you're pregnant, you are supposed to indulge, but then you have to, if you care about what your body looks like in postpartum, and everybody knows you're going to have to do work in postpartum. It would be insane if people just like bounce back. Like if they did nothing in pregnancy and then
bouncing back. And I feel
we have got to quit saying that word.
30% of women have had C-section, or 30% of mothers have had C-sections. Fine. But I don't care what anyone says. C-section scars change your body for the rest of life. Mm-hmm. Maybe a vaginal birth does too. Yes, we can agree on that. But like you don't see it. A C-section scar, like you and I talk about our scars all the time. But like you feel like you've got like any gain of weight you have, you feel like it's like showing above your scar. You feel like your scar, like it's just changing your body. So I do think that like looking at it after, I think with now, I'm like, it's the thing that I can control to look and feel good in my clothes, because you know that naked, like you have scars.
Oh,
Is that messed up?
No, I don't think so. There's just so many components that come with body image and motherhood. And I feel like it's a really big conversation that people like, it's kind of scary to talk about what we talked about before we even hit record. We're like, every body, not everybody, every body is so different, and it's so different in postpartum, and it's so different how you carry your baby, and it's different like when you're maybe carrying a boy versus carrying a girl, and like what did you do during your pregnancy, what did you eat, and so what your body looks like at the end is all like, it's all encompassing, and it's like such a mental load, because when you're in postpartum, you're worried about the baby, you know, you're trying to get on a feeding schedule, trying to get the baby to sleep, and then you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, I hate you and what you look like, and then you're like, well, how do I
You don't even want to look in the mirror.
You don't want to look in the mirror, and they're like, well, how do I make time to fix this situation when I can't even fix the baby situation at home? So it's like all of these things, but I think the little tips that we talked about and hearing other people's experiences of what they experienced with their body in pregnancy, what worked for them, what didn't work for them, what works in postpartum and what doesn't, is so helpful.
At the end of the day, I do think that you just need to take care of yourself, though.
Yeah,
like,
you need to take care of yourself.
It's so important. A baby needs a healthy mom. And like for me, that means that I have to look and feel good.
1000%. And I think that
I know it sounds vanity driven, but like,
that's easier for us to say having had 2 kids. Yeah. Like if people would have told us that after the boys, we'd be like, it doesn't matter what we look like. These boys are the most important things.
Totally. Now I'm like, oh, wait a second. There's somebody else in the room.
Lay down. Mommy has to go to a workout.
Yeah.
But I think that is like probably the overarching theme. Like the most important thing is that you should prioritize yourself before, during, and after in motherhood, because it will make you a better mom. It's one less thing to worry about. When you feel good, you look good, like everything is kind of working.
It just everybody's happier when mommy looks good.
Well, also, and like we talked with Christina about, like just finding different workouts that work for you. Yeah. Like you don't love like me getting on the bike.
No, I don't like
you
the bike.
Like Pilates and look at you, look insane. Like your body is perfect. So you don't have to do, but you don't have to do
what works for you.
What works for your body. And it's different for everybody, and it's different for your hormones. And like we are certainly not educated enough to tell everybody what works. But I think just taking it all in, understanding what worked for other bodies might not work for you, but also taking tips and tricks.
But I do think a woman in her 30s needs to know a workout that works for her body.
I know. Well, yes, I agree.
I mean, at any point in your life, but like when you're as of age as we are, like I think it's like you need to know what works for your body.
Yes, and how you do that is you do one set workout. You try the Peloton for a month. That hasn't been working for you. You're not seeing weight loss,
or you don't like it. Like you should,
or
like
you don't like it.
Like I don't like your
Peloton. Dreading it every time you get on. That doesn't work. Then you're trying change. Try Pilates. Try strength training.
A HIIT workout. Like whatever it's going to be.
Yes,
you have to find the thing that you feel connected to.
And you have to try consistency. I think consistency is the most important thing for working out.
Wait, what do you mean? Yesterday I went to that Legree and I was like, if my butt's not lifted by tomorrow, I'm not coming back. No, I'm joking though. But it's like you want immediate results, and like this pays off over time.
It does. I was a Pure Barre instructor. The one thing we always tell our clients is like, you need to come 3 days a week for at least a month to see any sort of result. Like if you want this to be long-term and effective, you have to put the work in, and it has to be for a long time.
Totally. Thanks for coming us on therapy with our body.
Some peanut butter pretzels.
Thanks for coming along with us in another episode. Thanks for tuning in to Camp Chaos. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our show. Connect with us on social media at Camp Chaos Podcast. Until next time, campers.